Welcome to the XP Team USA podcast. We're digging the plugs and pinpointing the topics you want to hear.
And now, here's your hosts, Dave Kimball and Grant Hansen.
This show is brought to you by XP Metal Detectors. XP Metal Detectors is a high-end, innovative metal detector company with great machines and great pinpointers. For more information, go to xpmetaldetectors.com. For a dealer near you, try a Google search or go to xpdeus-usa.com. Hello and welcome to the XP Team USA podcast. I'm your host, Dave Kimball, coming to you from Central Oklahoma, and I am joined today by my co-host, Grant Hansen, coming to you from New Jersey. How you doing, Grant?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, David?
I'm doing great.
You've been able to get out at all lately?
Oh, not really. I got out about a week ago, which wasn't too bad, but the weather is not severely bad. I can get out. Right now, it's just really cold wind, but the ground's still good.
Yeah, the weather here has been kind of sporadic. It was about 3 degrees on Monday and Tuesday, and today it was 49 degrees, but rained all day. And then Saturday and Sunday, it's going to go back down to 19. So, I'm trying to find a window, but I don't know if I'll get out anytime soon.
Yeah, I can't do that 3 degrees stuff. No.
No, I don't think the ground would be easy to dig in either.
I don't like cold weather.
Yeah.
We have a great show for everybody today. I'm really excited that we have XP Sonya, one of our own, and we also have Gary Blackwell. Gary Blackwell does a lot of the skill schools for Deus, and he's pretty much the face for XP.
Yeah, I'm very excited to talk to these two. They both have great stories, great histories. Sonya is a very interesting person, and she's had a really incredibly interesting life. And like you said, Gary, he just knows all the ins and outs of XP, so we'll ask him some good questions. And he also has an interesting life, so we'll get to know him a little bit better too.
Yeah, right. Also, earlier, about a week ago, I heard you on another podcast. I heard you were over there on Beyond Sight and Sound with Josh Kimball. You sounded really good.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, Josh had me on. I think we had a good conversation. It was probably a little bit over an hour, so I really appreciate Josh inviting me onto the show and his continued support of our podcast. So I would invite everyone to go over and check out his. It's Beyond Sight and Sound on Spreaker. A really good show. They air every Sunday and Wednesday nights at 8 p.m.
Yeah, really. Definitely go listen to them. While you're listening to them, get on the chat there on Spreaker while it's live, and you can talk to them. There's a lot of people who are active on there talking away.
Yeah, they have a very, very active chat channel when they're live. So it's nice to kind of get in on that conversation and meet new people. Yeah, it's a good crowd.
Yeah, it's like therapy. You can get on there and talk about your day.
Exactly.
Yeah, and also, not too long ago, we just got on iTunes. So we are now available on iTunes. So if you want to download us on iTunes, check it out.
Yeah, that's great. So now you got multiple ways of downloading the podcast and listening, whether it's straight from Spreaker, YouTube, or iTunes. The choice is yours.
Yeah, and I want to thank Lance Goolsby for helping us with that. He helped me get that on our show on iTunes. He will also be on our next podcast coming up. Lance Goolsby, he does the GDA podcast, so definitely check him out also.
Yeah, he'll be great to talk to on our February 9th show, along with our own David Gaines.
Also, our dealer of the month is Predator Tools for the month of January, so definitely check out Predator Tools at predatortools.com.
And tonight we're going to announce the winner of that really beautiful Super Relic Pro that we are giving away. We had the contest on our last show. A lot of people have entered to win that shovel, so at the end of the show, we're going to announce the winner.
Yes, and I want to thank everybody for listening and contributing to that. We got a lot of new followers, and we had a lot of plays on that show, so I want to thank everybody. It was really great.
Yeah, I really appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope you guys continue to tune in, and I hope what we present is really good content for you.
So enough about us. Let's get on with XP Sonya.
All right.
This segment is brought to you by Omega Mill Pouches, the official digging pouch of XP Team USA. If you're looking for a rugged, hunt-tested, washable pouch, look no further than Omega Mill. get on eBay and search Omega Mill Pouches. That's OMEGAMILL.
We would like to welcome Sonya Harshman, aka XP Sonya, to our show. Sonya is a member of XP Team USA, residing in Huntington, Indiana. Welcome to our show.
Hey, thank you, guys.
Yes, Sonya, welcome. Very excited to speak with you about metal detecting and some other things. So for those of us who know you, I would say it's safe to say you're outdoorsy. What hobbies do you have outside of detecting?
Oh, gosh. I like to do about anything outside. I like to fish. I like to go hiking and backpacking and just really anything to do with the outdoors.
Yeah, as an outdoorsy person, I can see why you like metal detecting. So what motivated you to get started into metal detecting?
Well, whenever I first moved here to Huntington, I don't know, it was about 5 years ago, the property we bought has a log cabin on it from 61. And of course, it's been shedded onto over the years and everything. But I don't know, it piqued my interest. I wanted to see if I could find anything out there. I actually did pretty good. I found a bunch of Indian hip pennies and crotal bells. I let a buddy hunt here at the property with me, and he found a seated $50 out here.
Wow.
So it's been a pretty good sight.
Yeah, I'd say so. And do you detect only in your home state of Indiana, or do you travel and go to organized digs as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I go to organized digs. I go out to Virginia. I try to once a year and go to the Civil War hunts out there. And then I also go to Kentucky and hunt usually about once a year just with some buddies down there. I try to go to different places when I can.
How does that type of detecting, especially for Civil War relics, differ than what you're used to up in Indiana?
You know, it really is different. I'm going to be honest, I kind of have a hard time whenever I go over there with their soil is so mineralized that it's hard for me. I'm used to things in the field being, 4 to 8 inches deep. And at some of these hunts, I mean, they're finding things at 16 inches. That's no joke. I mean, they use those pulse induction machines and they find things, I mean, even deeper than that. They can go up to, I don't even know, 1.5 feet deep. So it's different. It's definitely different, but it's always fun seeing everybody. That's really the best part of it.
From what I understand, you mostly hunt farm fields dating back to the mid-19th century. What do you hope to find when you're detecting coins or relics or buttons?
Any of it. I mean, honestly, I'm happy with any of it. Just, of course, the older, the better. I do love to find coins, I would take a relic just about any time over a coin. I like my relics. So.
Yeah, I think relics are cool. They sometimes tell a personal story if you can, not always link them back to the original owner, but it sparks the imagination a little bit more, I think, than a coin. Although I got to say, I love finding coins too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've been talking about outdoorsy stuff and, why we like detecting and some of your other hobbies. But, let's take a flip from that. You used to have a job that was focused on confinement, really. Can you tell us about your experience working in the juvenile jail system? I'm sure it was very interesting and probably challenging.
Oh, yeah. It was definitely different. I didn't work at just like how some people think of a juvenile place. This was actually a structured jail for the worst of the kids. This was murderers and rapists and everything else you can think of from the ages. I think our youngest was 8 to, until they hit 18. When they turned 18, they went to prison. It was something. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It was scary. It was exciting. And it was mostly sad, if I got to be, honest. It was seeing some of these little 8, 9, 10-year-olds in there. I mean, they didn't even know where they were. Because none of them were from Indiana, not one, because we sent our kids, I guess, to some other facility. These were all kids from like surrounding states. And when they got here, they honestly didn't even know they were in Indiana. It was sad.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I have a 6-year-old. My niece and nephew are 7. I can't imagine, them doing anything that would wind them up in just for even a town jail, let alone a prison facility. So, I can only imagine what it must have been like for you.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was sad. It was their last resort to try to, I guess, straighten them out. We were very hard on them to try to teach them right from wrong and that there's consequences and to make them not ever want to come back to that setting. That's why they were sent to us. They weren't allowed to talk unless at certain times. They had to get up at 5. They had to go to bed at 9. They got 4 minutes to eat. It was all just, everything was structured to the dime. I don't know. It was sad. I didn't stay too long.
What was it like being a truck dispatcher? Did you get behind the the wheel at all, or were you just about coordinating and managing routes?
No, it was a travel trailer fifth wheel company. We moved those, and I did some dispatching and all of the insurance and payroll and all of that stuff. That was a pretty fun job. I liked that. So sent people all over the United States, and it was a good company to work for.
So pretend some of our listeners may not know what a fifth wheel is. Could you, for their benefit, explain what that is?
Well, it's a travel trailer, the kind where it hooks up in your bed, in the middle of your bed of your pickup truck.
Got it.
Versus being pulled, a bumper pull.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
So in addition to working at the jail and being a dispatcher, and you've had a variety of interesting professions, what was your favorite profession you had?
Easily when I was an EMT. That was my most favorite. I had back surgery whenever I was 21. And then I was working at the EMT when I was, I would have been 29. And I hurt my back again, had to have back surgery again, and ended up having to quit that job. But that was easily my favorite. I love that job.
Yeah, I imagine it's that's another one that could be really emotionally taxing, but incredibly rewarding because of the service you're providing people.
Oh, yeah. All I ever wanted was to save somebody's life. I think that's what everybody wants, and never got to do that. Lost a few, tried to save them, and it didn't work. So got some heart-wrenching thoughts coming in my mind now, but I did enjoy that job. And had I not hurt my back, I believe I probably would have been a paramedic by now and still been doing it.
Very interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm one of those people that I've had a lot of jobs. I like to try new things. I've always been that way, So I've been a realtor. I've worked for the post office. Like I said, I did the EMT thing, the jail. I've worked at an adult jail before a county jail, just about everything in between.
We'll be right back with XP Sonya after this. XP has introduced its new ORX machine, a high-end machine at a mid-range price. The ORX has 4 factory preset programs, 2 gold, 2 coins, also 2 user programs. The ORX comes with a high-frequency coil and is compatible with the X35 coils. The ORX is now available in the USA. Welcome back. We're here with XP Sonya. So how do you gain permissions on properties you detect on? What's your approach to talking to landowners?
I just go up. I try to go most of the time on Sundays because, I don't know, I swear people are nicer on a Sunday. Most people, went to church in the morning. They've came home. I try to go around 2 or 3, and I just go up and knock on the door. I'm always clean, obviously. I don't go after I've been digging. And when they answer the door, the very first thing I say is, I'm sorry to bother you, but my name's Sonya Harshman, and I tell them I've been looking at old plat maps and noticed that they have some property that has had old home sites on it, and, that I metal detect, and was wondering if it'd be okay if I metal detected on their property. And sometimes I'll say, if they ho-hum around, I'll say, I'll go get the map, and, have you ever seen an old plat map? And they'll say no, and I'll go to my car and get it, because I usually have printed maps. I don't do it on my cell phone. And they seem to be interested in looking at those maps. So far, I've only had 4 or 5 people tell me no out of, I've got over 30,000 acres now that I detect.
Wow, that's nice.
So, it's not too bad on my nose. I'm doing all right. I just try to talk to them just normal. I don't just jump right into it. And, if I see they're busy or if they say they're busy, I just say, I'm sorry, I'll come back another time. But they're usually really friendly because, in all honesty, when you're doing a field, you're giving them a service too, because you're taking out all the junk that they, that ruins their tires and ruins their discs and all that stuff.
Right.
So it's kind of a win-win for both of us.
It's funny. I've heard so many different strategies over the years on what to say and how to gain permission, but I've never heard favoring a Sunday. And I think that's very interesting, and it makes sense of what you're saying. So I think I'm going to have to try that.
Well, if you go through the week, usually you're going in the evening and they've been at work all day. They might have had a bad day or, trying to get supper on the table. And it seems like Sundays are good days for me.
So what's it like being a female and what I would say is a predominantly male hobby?
It works out well. There's so many people in this hobby willing to help others. whether if it's male or female. With so many men in this hobby, I think they like to help the females, as in, they know when you're new, they know it. They want to help. If it wasn't for the males, I wouldn't be where I am, point blank. I went to a local club here. I had a man tell me exactly how to read the plat map because I had never even seen a plat map. I didn't even know what it was. He explained everything to me, helped me with getting permissions, took me out detecting a few times. I got my buddy in Ohio. He's taken me out a bunch and helped me with stuff. And, I think it works out well, whether if it's male or female.
So what would you tell other women who might want to get started in this hobby of metal detecting?
Oh, I'd say go for it. It's so rewarding. If they like to be, outdoors and like that little bit of adventure, they'd love it. I'd say go for it. You'll love it.
I don't think you'll find any arguments from us on that. I'm going to ask you a question that's really tough for most detectorists, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What is your all-time favorite find?
Easily my 1857 $1 gold coin. That's got to be, number one on my list.
Nice. Another tough question there. I know that's pretty cool, pretty hard to beat, but what would your second most favorite find be?
I don't know if I have just one second favorite. I've got part of my Civil War cavalry sword that I found in Virginia. That's got to be one of them. And probably my Civil War tokens. I just love finding those things. Those are one of my most favorite things to find.
Nice.
So I'd rather find those than silver. I honestly would. I don't know what it is about those. Just every one you find is different. You never know what it's going to say on it. I'd say probably those would be my favorite.
Yeah. And when you found your 1857 gold dollar, what was it, a farm field? Was there anything remarkable about the property, or it just happened to come up?
Well, when I found it, I thought I was just on a home site. So, yes, it was in a farm field, and I thought, just a normal farm field home site. Probably about 6 months later, I found out it was actually part of a ghost town. So I pulled so much off, and I can still go back today and pull stuff off there. I found shield nickels, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 there. Indian head pennies, I don't even know how many of those things I found. I mean, it's just littered with, it's iron infested, and you just got to pick those, little squeaks out. But to this day, I could go there and find coins.
That's great, and I'd keep going back and back if I were you, if it's producing like that.
Yeah, definitely. I do.
So do you have anything that's topping your metal detecting bucket list right now?
Oh my gosh, a capped bust, anything. I have sites old enough, because my sites date back to like 1820s, that I should be finding those, and I have never found one, and it just kills me.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I was out detecting with a buddy of mine, and he found a cap bust dime, and I'm thrilled for him, but so jealous. So
those things are just beautiful.
Yeah, they really are.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about the contest that is going on right now in the XP Team USA group with the hard case?
Yeah, we're giving away a hard case. XP Team USA and Metal Detectors Americas are going in together to give that case away. The participants need to write a short story, doesn't need to be anything elaborate, and send it in to XP Metal Detectors Americas.com, and then they will send them an email saying that their story is live, and they just need to copy that link onto our page, and then they're entered. And we're going to be giving that away, I think, the 26th in the evening of January. So that's coming up here soon. And, anybody that has an XP Deus or an ORX, they'll love that case. I have one. I love it. I take it everywhere I go when I travel.
Great.
It's a great prize.
I want you to talk about the XP Team USA show that's on YouTube. You do the Deus Dandies, is that right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we have our team members send in their pictures of their favorite finds. We do that about probably once a month, and we put those finds in our videos, and I pick my personal favorite find for the month. So, and the winners usually get a hat and a T-shirt from XP Team USA. I mean, we just love seeing those. It's fun to see what everybody's finding, all over the United States.
Yeah, it is.
Makes us jealous here when it's wintertime.
Right. So if somebody wants to submit a picture to the Deus Dandies, how do they go about doing that?
They just send their pictures to me with a brief description of what it is, where they found it, and they send it to XP Team USA Sonya@gmail.com, and I'll make sure it gets in.
Well, all right. Well, if you want to see what everybody's finding, then check us out on YouTube, XP Team USA, and check out Deus Dandies with XP Sonya. Also, if you want to check out XP Sonya, check her out on her Facebook page. Also, the Facebook group XP Team USA. Well, it was great talking to you, Sonya, and we'd love to have you back again sometime.
Well, thank you guys very much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Check us out online at xpdeus-usa.com.
XP Metal Detectors now introduces the new X35 search coils. Designed around a brand new electronic advances, these new high-performance and versatile coils will allow you to choose from a wide range of frequencies, ranging from 3.7 kHz to 27.7 kHz. In total, there are 35 available frequencies based around 5 main frequencies that are quickly accessible. A new boost mode is now an option on frequencies 3.7 kHz to 4.4 kHz and can significantly increase detection depth on highly conductive targets such as large masses and large silver coins. The new X35 search coils will now be available as option as the same price as the previous coils, and also now will be standard with the brand new Deus. So get your X35 today.
Thanks for joining me, everyone. Today I've got the ORX and I'm searching the field of dreams. So join me in the XP Skills School.
If you have ever done any research about your Deus, then you might have seen our next guest. He does a series on YouTube about the settings and techniques needed to improve your knowledge of your XP machine called the Skill School. He has also helped XP Team USA out immensely. Please welcome Gary Blackwell. How you doing, Gary?
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm really well, thank you. I'm suffering a little bit from a head cold, so excuse me, but apart from that, I'm feeling really good and pleased to be on the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. And we're going to talk plenty about XP metal detectors. But first, we'd love to know, how did you get started in this great hobby? What's the origin of your story?
1994, I think it was, when my father used to go out metal detecting, and he used to go out all day long. And my mum used to get worried because he wasn't back after his detecting for several hours. And in the end, she just said to me, look, can you just go with him and just keep your eye on him and make sure he's okay? So under protest, I went along with him. Little did I know, I was the one digging all the holes in some kind of treacherous conditions through rocks and mud and all that lot. So I was kind of his hole digger. And then I started seeing what he was finding, some really interesting bits and pieces. So I thought, hey, why don't I just go and get a metal detector myself and we can detect it together? And, you know, that was kind of the best time I ever had with my father, you know, detecting together. And we were a team for many years.
Well, that's great. It's wonderful that you got to share that experience with him.
So how did your love of the hobby transition into the career of XP?
Oh, okay. So I got into detecting and I started chopping and changing machines quite a lot in the early days because, well, mainly based on magazine adverts. You know, every advert says this machine's best, and I couldn't really settle with a machine because I kept changing it so often, and I quickly realised that a lot of these field tests and reviews were, how we say, armchair reviews. They weren't really about the machine itself. It was just something to get up there to read. So the internet was in its infancy then, and I started off a website called Gary's Detecting, which very quickly became one of the top websites out there. Maybe because there wasn't many websites, but I like to think it's because I'd done honest and down-to-earth reviews, and that's how I continued with the Gary's Detecting, just literally buying machines. I was never given anything, buying machines and reviewing them, and that's what built the website up in the early days. And I got talking to a French guy back in, I think 2002, something like that, and I invited him over to the UK. His name was Alain Loubert because he had a new product, and we spent some detecting time together, and we become best of friends ever since. And as the years progress, there's a lot happened happened with my health and things like that, and I shut my business down, and I ended up working for XP full time. That was about 4 years ago.
Yeah, that's a great transition story, especially when things come together, your entrance into the hobby. And at that time, the internet is kind of just gaining speed. It seemed like everything was aligned to happen at the right time.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a firm believer in, what's to be will be sort of thing. One door closes and another door opens, and you just roll with it, really.
And you just got back from XP headquarters in France. Are you allowed to tell us anything exciting that's happening?
Oh, yeah. I've just got back from the factory. What's happening, we've now got a new building next to the existing building, which is, I'll say 98% finished, and we've started moving some machinery in. We've just installed a new SMD machine, which I don't know if you guys know what an SMD machine is. It actually picks the components off of a ribbon and places the components on a circuit board. This thing is just unbelievable to watch. I think it does 40,000 components in 1 hour, and that's running it at half power. There's 2 robot arms, and we're only using one arm at the moment because the other's not been set up, and it's doing 40,000 components. That's components from a ribbon and placing it on a circuit board. 40,000 in an hour. And once it's picked all the components onto the circuit board, the conveyor belt moves it along to the solder oven, and at the end of it, out comes a Deus, an MI6, an ORX, whatever we choose on the ribbon. So it's really moving fast at XP. It's like a runaway train. It really is.
So, Gary, you mentioned XP is now moving to a new building. Can you tell me what the motivation is behind that and why the new building is going to benefit XP?
Okay, yeah, sure. We've still got our existing building, which is the factory, which does all the construction, really. Over the last few years, we've gone almost completely robotic. So the machines we've had made to construct the coils, the machines, they're all made specifically for XP. You can't go out and buy these in shops or factories. We've got a team in to actually make them for XP. So if anyone comes to XP, there's strictly no filming in the factory because these machines are so sensitive. So the new building next door, it's a 2-story building. I'll send you some pictures over. And what we're doing with that, we're gonna make that research and development. So our research and development team are about 15, 20 miles down the road, which people don't really see. So we want to move the whole team into the one location. So the new building is just going to be for research development. We've got our own test bed in there. The floor's been hollowed out and it's been filled up with different soils ranging from non-mineralized to highly mineralized. So we can actually test the machines on real soil. So if we've got demonstrations, for example, we had some customers over, some of our dealers over last week. This is why I was in France, and we can actually grab the machine and show them how it reacts over the different soils. So it's a real cool place. It's really, really coming together now.
That sounds exciting. And for the non-top secret sections, I'm sure people would like to take tours.
Yeah.
Technology in XP has always been groundbreaking since they started. Most detectors are familiar with the XP Deus. XP has recently came out with the new ORX, and it has been making a stir, and a lot of people have been talking about it. Can you tell us a little bit more about the machine and why XP decided to produce it?
Well, yeah, it's the different ways of calling it, really. Some people call it the ORX or the ORX or the AUX. I'll just tell you about the name. OR is in French is gold, so ORX. That's where the name originated from. So XP wanted to introduce a machine which was capable of gold hunting and capable of coin and jewelry hunting, but keep it in a simplified package, because we just kind of wanted to introduce people who haven't used XPs. We wanted to introduce them into the family and just see what XP can do. And as you guys know, there's wireless technology, there's cordless headphones, but nobody really does it quite as well as XP do it. So once you've experienced how fast these wireless headphones and things are, you really knock back. So it's quite good. So, okay, the ORX, that's the market we want to hit, the gold market, and the mid-range detecting market for coin and jewellery for people who are perhaps on a little bit of a budget. But I'm really surprised how well this ORX performs. You can adjust it from the factory presets, you can sort of move the parameters slightly hotter, and this thing just finds stuff. I found it loves silver. The times I've been out with it, I always come back with a little bit of silver. You don't really have to adjust it if you don't want. You just switch it onto coin fast or coin deep, whatever you fancy, and just off you go. And I think that's what's going to appeal to people with this machine.
And it's even just a little bit lighter than the Deus, right?
That's right. We've got the new S-Lite telescopic stem, which is a one-piece constructed stem. It's easy to do because XP own their own injection moulding company in France. So the plastics, we can really keep an eye on the quality and keep it all consistent.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to be asking too, can they buy that stem for their Deus?
Absolutely, yeah. The stem is just an optional extra. So I think over here in the UK, the standard Deus stem is about £175, where the new S-Lite stem is about £110. So it's quite a big saving.
Yeah, you're saving money and some weight.
Yeah, sure.
I am a huge fan of the Detectorist series.
Mm-hmm.
I understand you helped Mackenzie Crook as a consultant and as a teacher. Can you tell us about that experience and how it came to be?
Yeah, I can do. Yeah, Mackenzie's just a fantastic guy. He's such a humble man. Many years ago, there was a production on YouTube we'd done with Joan Allen metal detectors. It was to promote the new MyLabs back then. And I wrote a little story. I can't even remember what it was called. I think if you Google Gateway to Treasure, you'll see the little video clip we made there. We got a video company in to do the filming, and to be fair with you, they done quite a shockingly bad job of it. The focus was miles out most of the time. But my son was in this, and I think Mackenzie's team actually watched that, and they thought, what a great story. So they contacted Joan Allen and asked to use the story, and Luke at Joan Allen said, well, actually, it was Gary who wrote the story, so you need to ask him. So Mackenzie contacted me, and we went out for a day's detecting. I done him a day's Deus training, and we all had lunch together, and he asked me if he could use the story. I said, yeah, for sure, no problem at all. I'm really pleased. And he said, do you want to be on the Detectorists on the show? And I said to him, not really, no. I've got enough going on, but my son's quite good in front of the camera and he's a detectorist. Why don't you give him a shot? So they watched some of my son's videos and they said, yeah, do you know what? We really love him on the show. So we went up there and he did the filming, which was fantastic. I think it's series 3, episode 2. It's where the Dirt Sharks are in the pub showing their finds, and Daniel, my son, is Gavin. And before that, they called me up and they wanted me to do some training with the people who worked on the show. So that was really good. I got to meet them all, and that's where it went, really, the Detectorist. Hopefully they'll be doing another show, but when I spoke to Mackenzie, he didn't seem too keen on it.
That's great. And those Dirt Sharks. or their latest name was the Terra Firma. Just love those guys.
That's right.
So does that series, do they get it right in your book?
Yeah, that is just brilliant. I love all the Detectorist series, and it's just easy watching, It really is. Just love it.
Yeah, I saw in an interview that Mackenzie Crook said he tried to pick the right detector for each character to match their personality. And I found that very interesting. And you can see why the Dirt Sharks are using the detectors they're using. But what do you think it was about his Andy character that linked him to be a Deus user?
That's a really interesting question, actually. I don't think I could answer that, but he does seem quite a methodical guy, doesn't he, when he searches and when he talks. So he's obviously a thinker. Mm-hmm. So, the Deus suits him down to the ground. He really does. Mm. But no, I can't really answer that one to any great length. I know he had a Deus already. He actually went out and bought a Deus because he's got a passion for metal detecting. So he didn't just use a Deus for the show. He actually is a Deus user.
So I understand you're a cancer survivor. Congratulations on your current health. Can you tell us how that experience was for you and how it affected your life?
Oh, yeah, it's a real tough journey. But it does change you. It changes your character. It's a humbling disease. It brings you down a peg or two. You meet some great people along the way, and it just makes you feel like I'm so lucky to be alive, because some of my good friends, even some people I was having treatment with, are not with us now. So you just got to look after yourself. The trouble is nobody knows what causes cancer. Everyone says it's because you were a paint sprayer. Then people said it's because you live next door to a busy road because of the exhaust fumes. And when I spoke to my surgeon, I said, what causes it? He said, we've no idea. I'm just here to cure you, and that's it. So yeah, I'm still undergoing 6 monthly checkups and things like that. So yeah, I particularly had throat cancer. So that's why you see on the videos my neck is not quite the right shape as it should be. But hey ho, battle scars and all that lot. But anyone who's going through cancer and things like that, I just wish them all the very best. And I just like to say, be strong, because there is light at the end of the tunnel. There really is.
Yeah, well, we're very thankful for your current state of health. Do you find that metal detecting provides you with some type of healing effect?
I think we all need some sort of hobby just to get our heads out of the rat race, which we call life, So whether it be fishing, detecting, whatever, it's always good to have a hobby. But yeah, the detecting, certainly when I was having some bad times, my friend Graham just used to turn up and say, look, we're going out today. Even if I have to carry you out, we're going detecting. So he was a great inspiration for me, and detecting really did help.
Yeah, I find it healing just from a mental reset and a balance. You work all week and you've got stress and whatever, and you can kind of get out there and just swing and be alone in your own head and kind of just mend, emotionally.
Absolutely. I'm reading a really good, I'm listening to a really good audio book at the moment, and it's from a chap called Guy Martin. He's a superbike racer, TT racer, and he's a firm believer that your brain is made into 3 different parts. You've got the chimp, the human being, and the computer. And it's quite funny because he says the chimp is the one where you open your mouth without thinking, because the chimp gets the blood supply first, and then you have to suppress it and get to the human side of the brain. And that's what detecting does. It leaves the chimp behind, it leaves the computer behind, and you just go out as a human being detecting. It's a really interesting philosophy he's got.
I really like that. So many of our listeners know you from your XP Skill School videos on YouTube. If you are listening and not familiar with this amazing library of videos, go over to the YouTube and search for XP metal detectors. You have an extensive library of various skills and settings. What more can we expect from that channel?
It's ongoing, really. What I'd really like from the customers and the viewers, if you like, is just give me some suggestions. What videos would you like to see? We've got 2 sides to the XP channels. We've got obviously the official XP YouTube channel, and then we've got what I call the Skill School channel, which is my own personal channel. It's under the name Gardancelin. So that's the one where you see the skill schools. But the XP one's more of a polished videos. They're better quality. They're filmed and edited by Stuart Mina, who, as you know, do your Team XP shows. The Skill School YouTube is just me self-filming, self-editing. So they're not quite as good quality, but they're kind of more like the guy in the field. And I think people appreciate those sort of videos, just your average guy in the field going out with a detector, giving some hints and tips along the way. So, yep, I've got some more videos planned. I'm just about to do an ORX best performance videos, just showing you how to get a little bit more out of your RX in the field. Like I say, if you've got any suggestions, by all means, just whiz them across to me and I'll be glad to sort of do a video on any particular subject you want.
If you don't mind, one of our listeners has called in our hotline and left a question for you. I'd like to play that real quick.
Okay, just let me turn the chimp side off in my brain before we start. Let's do it.
Hey, I've got a question for Gary. This is John DeVille, long-time XP user. And my question is, why, when they made the X35 coil, did they not use the battery in the shaft like they did on the high-frequency coils? Because for me, man, that was a game changer and made the day feel a lot lighter than what it is. And another question is, will XP ever make a wireless pulse machine or pulse coil like for a Deus, or just a whole other machine? That's two of my questions that I'd really be interested in hearing about. Thanks.
Oh, interesting. Why is the X35 battery not in the shaft? I did ask that question to XP when it first came out, and they said they just want to keep the black coils along the traditional line of construction, so the battery inside the coil, just to keep the mouldings and everything the same. The X35 has got a very similar moulding to the original black coils, whereas the HF coils have got a different moulding, so it's a different construction procedure. So I'm guessing that's why they kept it in the coil, because they wanted to keep the original mouldings. After all, mouldings cost thousands and thousands of dollars to make, so that's what they wanted to do there. Will XP ever make a PI machine? I'm pretty sure they will, but labour is limited at XP. We're a very small company, so to work on these sort of projects, we need to get other jobs finished first. So, yeah, I think they probably will bring out a PI machine at some point. It'd be mad not to, but not at the moment.
Got it. Because you've used so many detectors over the years and you're constantly testing new things, you must have seen all the innovations and enhancements that have come into our technology. What do you think the biggest advances have been to date, and what advances are yet to come?
Oh, wow. That's a tricky one. I'm not an engineer, so I can't really answer about the technical side of things there. But, I mean, for XP, the Deus has been going, 9-10 years now, and we're still learning it. So it's really a credit to itself. It's a victim of its own success, isn't it? Because it was so far ahead of its time when it was released. It's still going now. I think the best thing what's happening at the moment is the updates, because you can freshen your machine up with a free update and you don't have to go out and buy a new machine every time per se. For many, many years, manufacturers have just been making tiny changes to their machine, a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more this, a little bit more that. But I'm sure you'll agree, over the years, detectors haven't really moved on a great deal. For example, sat next to me here, I've got the old Nautilus DCM-B2, whatever it is, and that's 25 years old, and that still performs really, really well, although it looks dated. So in a nutshell, I think XP have done the right thing by bringing out free updates, and for me that's probably the best. The wireless technology and the updates, for me, that's the number one choice.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on what I've seen. That's definitely, once you go wireless, it's hard to ever think about going back.
Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. There's still room for improvement with the Deus. There will be with any machine. And I've seen some stuff what we've got in the pipeline, and I'm thinking, wow, I didn't even think of that, but that's a fantastic idea. So hopefully some of these things will start surfacing towards the end of this year. I know they're moving on quite quickly, but again, the ORX has taken us by surprise. We didn't realise we were going to sell so many of these quickly. So at the factory, they're working flat out just to fill the order books at the moment.
I know a lot of people probably ask you this, but what are your go-to settings on the Deus and the ORX, and what clues do you look for to adjust when you're out in the field?
It's all down to audio. First of all, I'll have a wiggle around the site and just listen to the audio. If there's a lot of iron, and this is why I love to hear the iron, people say, how do you put up with all that noise? Well, do you know what? If you think that's noise, you shouldn't be using these settings. If you look at it as feedback, that's the best way to do it. So I listen to the feedback. If I'm getting a lot of iron, I'm thinking to myself, well, I can't go hot on these settings because my main objective is to find stuff amongst the iron because there's a lot of iron. So I kind of turn things down a little bit. I like, if there's iron about, I like to use the hot program because that gives me loads of different information and it's very easy to cherry pick those high tones out of the low iron grumble. Now, if I go out there and there's not a lot of iron about, I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? I can probably make some tweaks in the upward direction, such as using program number 6 deep as a platform. And now that uses less filtering or a different filtering to the other programs, so it punches a little bit harder. So then I can start looking at sensitivity and just things like that, just to get a little bit more out of the machine if you've got quiet sites. But audio's your prime thing there. You just got to listen to what's going on around you and perhaps get a mental picture of the site.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because I'm the same way. I like to hear everything as much as I can. Not too long ago, I met Gary Cook when he was over in New York City.
That's right.
Yeah, so we shared a drink, and he put a 2-tone program on my on my desk, and not necessarily, oh, it's better, you shouldn't use what you're using, but it's a different mindset, right? And where you're kind of just simplifying things and don't worry about all the noise and just listen for the good tone. So that's something I'm going to try this year, just to try something new and experience what that's like. And he's a really good detecting buddy of yours, right? It must be nice to have a friend like that you can go out and share a hobby with.
Absolutely. I've got a good team around me. I've got some really, really good friends who, you just couldn't wish for better people. That they're really good. Cook is a good guy. He's blessed with some really good land, actually. You can't really fail on his land. So we always take up his invites because we know we're going to find something. But down here, we've got some club land. You'll probably see on my latest video, the ORX, we call it the Field of Dreams because there's literally nothing here. All you do is dream when you're detecting these lands. And I kind of like them fields in a way because it puts you to the test. If you can find something on a quiet field, you know you're kind of doing it right, you know?
So do you prefer detecting solo or with a friend, or do you like to go to the large organized rallies?
Oh, without a doubt, maximum of 3 people. I like a bit of company when I'm detecting, but I don't feel comfortable in the large events. I do them because it's a part of the job. It's a social outlet as well. But if I really want to get my head down detecting, it's either myself, Cookie, myself, Neil, or the 3 of us, or Graham, or whatever. I just like small groups, you know.
I can relate to that. So, of all the great coins and artifacts you found over the years, what's the one thing that's topping your bucket list that you haven't found that you'd really like to find?
Oh, what have I not found?
I know asking you could be tough because you've found a lot.
It comes and goes. You have good seasons and bad seasons, and that's kind of depends on how often you go out and where you're going out, you know. But I'd like to find some Saxon hammered coins. I found bits of them before, but I've never found a complete Saxon coin, and that's on my bucket list. And also a complete gold hammered coin. That's also on my bucket list. Found tiny little bits of them, but never the complete one.
I usually ask this to everybody, and I got to ask you because you're over there in England and you've already found a bunch of cool stuff. But if you were given a 1-day free pass to hunt anywhere in the world that was always off limits to metal detecting, where would you go?
Where would I go? Crikey. Well, it wouldn't be Stonehenge because I think that goes back a little bit too far. But I'm surrounded by some really good places here, which we got Winchester just down the road, which was like the Saxon capital. It's got to be the Tower of London. It has to be London.
Yeah, I imagine the artifacts that would come out of there.
Great history, isn't there, around there? It's got to be.
All right. Well, can you tell everybody how they can find Gary Blackwell?
Well, the XP Skills School is my YouTube channel, which is Gardancelin. Then we've got the official XP website and the official XP YouTube channel. The XP Skills School, you're probably familiar with that website. At the moment, we're just revamping the XP official website. So we're moving the Skills School website over to the XP. So there's a lot going on at the moment regarding the media, because like I say, we're building up a completely new website, a completely new library. So keep your eye on the official XP website, because things are changing there. www.xpmetaldetectors.com.
All right. It was great talking to you, Gary, and I can't wait to have you back on again sometime.
Absolutely. My pleasure. So anytime you need me, just give me a shout. I'll always be here for you guys, and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a pleasure speaking with you, and thanks for being flexible with your schedule so that we can get the U.S. and England on the phone together. I think our listeners are really going to enjoy this.
Yeah, if you've got any questions, just ping me an email or get hold of me through the XP Facebook page. Yeah, I'm always here. But keep those video suggestions coming in, because I'm running out of ideas now.
You got it.
Good job, guys. Catch you soon.
All right. See ya.
Take care.
If you have a question for one of our guests or just like to make a comment, call us at our XP Team USA podcast hotline at 405-294-3602.
If you are needing the highest quality digging tool for metal detecting, then check out Predator Tools. Their digging tools are made from chromoly 4130 and heat treated and tempered to ensure the highest quality product. Predator tools are made in the USA and are also used in the United States military. All of their tools carry a 5-year warranty and are proven to be the toughest out there. So check out Predator Tools at predatortools.com.
This is Express News with Grant Hansen.
Hey everyone, this is Grant Hansen back with another edition of Express News. Could it be? Did a clue to a $4 billion lost treasure recently wash up on a Florida beach? According to a Newsweek article, quote, researchers have discovered an artifact which is believed to be part of a huge $4 billion haul of treasure hidden somewhere off the Florida coast. An ancient Peruvian funeral mask, about 10 to 12,000 years old, was found washed up on a Melbourne beach in central Florida. Mike Torres, an Army Ranger and former MIT professor, has been on the hunt for this lost treasure for over 10 years. Believed to have been lost at sea during a 1715 hurricane, those involved with the treasure hunt feel that, quote, the lost treasure would be the greatest archaeological discovery in a century, and that the mask could be the missing link to the debris trail which could help them locate it. It is believed that the Spanish removed this mask, which was probably originally gold-plated, from a Peruvian burial site. The mask also has traces of iridium, which is found in meteorites. For more information on this super cool discovery, visit Newsweek.com and FloridaToday.com. Andy and Carissa Rasmussen, home renovators from Minnesota, recently uncovered about $30,000 when ripping up the floor beds on a home they were remodeling. What's especially cool about their remodeling company, called Accessible Homes, is that they renovate homes for people with disabilities. According to Fox9.com, quote, the house he is renovating is owned by the nonprofit Bethesda. It provides housing and services for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. The bag of money is now going right back into that nonprofit, so this money will be put to great use. For more information on this incredible story, visit Fox9.com. What is thought to be the world's oldest intact shipwreck has recently been discovered off the coast of Bulgaria. How old, you ask? Oh, about 2,400 years old. It's amazing that even after thousands of years, this 75-foot Greek trading vessel is even identifiable. The oxygen-free environment of the Black Sea helped preserve the ship. According to an article in the Vintage News, quote, the ship was found lying whole with its mast, rudders, and rowing in a shipwreck graveyard that has already revealed over 60 other vessels. Divers didn't just happen on the vessel. It was spotted by a remote-controlled submarine. Material samples from the ship dated to about 400 BC. Ships of this type have only been seen thanks to paintings on ancient pottery, and the real vessel will give researchers new insight into maritime technology of the time. For more information on this amazing discovery, visit thevintagenews.com. And that's a wrap for another edition of Express News. Thanks for listening.
All right, well, that was Gary Blackwell we talked to. It was really great hearing from Gary Blackwell. He's a really great guy.
Yeah, and I could have gone on and on and on with questions for him about XP, about Detectorists. So we'll definitely have to get him back on the show.
Yeah, with all their new updates and anything new coming out with XP, we'll definitely get Gary back and have him explain it to us and tell us a little details about it.
Yeah, and I'm interested to hear more about the new building once it's up and running.
Right, yeah. And XP Sonya was great talking to too. She's always fun to talk to.
Yeah, she's a really interesting person. She has a diverse past with her different careers, and hearing about her work in the prison was especially intriguing.
Yeah. Check us out on iTunes, and also check out the other shows out there like Beyond Sight and Sound and GDA Podcast and Relics Radio, and there's a couple others out there. Just check them all out, and if you love podcasts about metal detecting, then there's a lot out there to check out.
Yeah, it's a good time to be a metal detectorist if you want people to chat with or talk to or listen to. There's a lot of good stuff out there.
Without further delay, I know everybody's been waiting on this, and some of you probably fast forward and trying to find it, but here we're going to announce the winner of the Super Relic Pro shovel, donated by George Leshy from Predator Tools.
I am very anxious to hear the winner, and I'm going to be very jealous of the winner. I admit that.
Yeah, me too. I'm still going to have to go out and buy me one of those because I really like it.
Yeah, I think so too. Maybe, it'll be a Father's Day present that I'll ask for this year.
Yeah. All right. Well, the winner of the new Super Relic Pro shovel is, drumroll, Kim Anderson. Congratulations, Kim.
Yeah, congrats, Kim. We're really excited for you. I think you're going to love this shovel, and we're going to be interested to hear how you get on with it.
Right. We'll definitely want to hear some reviews on it or see pictures of it. So how does she pick up her shovel there, Grant?
Hey, Kim. So we want to send you this shovel ASAP. So please send me an email at xpteamusagrant@gmail.com, or just send me a private message on Facebook. Tell me your address. We'll connect with George and Pam Leshy, and we'll get you that shovel out.
All right. Yeah, that's a great prize. That's really cool. Also, if anybody likes to write blogs, send me your blog, and I will get it posted on our website. We post new blogs every Friday, and we'll love to hear your blog. Send it to xpteamusa@gmail.com.
Yeah, so if you've never visited our website before, please check out xpdeus-usa.com. We've got a really good library of blogs on there already, so if you haven't already, check it out. There's some good reading material.
All right, and we'll see everybody February 8th, and we will have David Gaines and Lance Goolsby.
Yeah, I'm excited for those conversations, so thanks for joining us, and until next time.
See ya.
Get that permission, put the coil to the soil, and we'll see you next time right here on the XP Team USA podcast.